Hello everybody. So today we'll be seeing about psychology in Buddhism. As we have already discussed, Indian psychology can be divided into two, which is Nastika schools. The whole schools in Indian psychology can be divided into Astika schools and Nastika schools. Astika are those which are based on Vedic authority, whereas Nastika are those which are not. So, under Nastika, generally we include Charvaka, Buddhism, and Jainism. So, out of those three, now we will be seeing about psychology in Buddhism. So, Buddhism can be, of course, we can trace the roots from Gautama Buddha. We all know his story. He was enlightened and he traveled all over India to spread this knowledge to other people. So, if we see about Buddhism, they do speak a lot about psychology. They talk about emotion, cognition, behavior, motivation, and also about therapy. So, when you see about therapy in Buddhism, they have two goals. So, one is to have a very harmonious life as a householder. Okay, and another goal is nirvana, where you don't have any attachments, you are not into any attachments or suffering or anything. So you split the whole of Buddhism into two. One is that which has the goal of living as a householder, and the second one which is having the goal of nirvana. So this again is developed into four schools. So Hinayana has developed into Vaibhashika and Sautrantika, whereas Mahayana has developed into Vijnanavada and Shunyavada. So the Vaibhashikas are those people who believe in the reality of the world. Okay, so they say that everything is real, your perception is real, the experience is real, and nature and mind exists independently, they exist. So, and Sautrantikas also believe in the existence of the external world. Okay, so both these schools, if you see, they believe in reality, they believe in the external world, they believe in the reality of the world. And the Sautrantikas, they believe that the different forms of consciousness, it leads to a conclusion that all the things around you, the everything that is there in the external world actually exist. So this is what they believe. And then the other two are the Yogakaras or the Vijnanavadis and the Shunyavadis. So Yogakaras are the people who are more into yogic practices, and the Shunyavadins, so Shunya is, the literal meaning would be zero, but Shunya means void, which has nothing. Okay, so the Shunyavadins believe that the subject and the object, the internal, external, everything is void, nothing is there. Okay, so everything just appears as though it is there, where actually nothing actually exists. So this is how the Vijnanavadins and the Shunyavadins, they see the world. So the earlier two, the Vaibhashikas and the Sautrantikas, they believe in reality, they believe in the external world, they believe that all the things around you exist, whereas the Yogakaras and the Shunyavadins, they are more towards the not believing in the external reality kind of people. And the Shunyavadins specifically, they believe that everything around you is just, it's just appearing as though it is there, whereas it is actually not existing. So next very important concept which comes in Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. So it is considered to be Buddha's most important teachings, because these four things are that which will not change irrespective of which time you're living in or your age or anything. These four truths will never change. So, and that is what Buddha, that is why Buddha, it is considered as the most important teachings of Buddha. So the first is all beings experience pain and misery during their lifetime. Okay, so everything that happens in your life has some element of dukkha in it. Dukkha is sadness or misery or pain. Okay, so your birth itself has some element of pain in it. Old age, sickness, death, sorrow, anxiety, grief, everything has an element of dukkha in it. Okay, so whenever we feel or see or come in contact with something which we don't like, that is also a pain. When we have to come away from something that we like, that is also pain. If we have expectations and those expectations are not met, that is pain. Okay, so you are definitely subject to pain. So that is the first noble truth, that all beings experience pain and misery during their lifetime. Okay, the second noble truth is that the origin of pain and misery is due to a specific cause. You are experiencing pain, and that pain is there because of a particular cause. Okay, the cause is because you have a desire. You want something, you have a desire for attaining something, you have your expectations, you want pleasure, you want a passion. So all that is where your dukkha is originating from, because of your desires. So your desires are the root cause for your pain and misery. That is noble truth number 2. Out of the 4, these are the two. First one is all beings experience pain and misery during their lifetime. Second one is the origin of pain and misery is due to a specific cause, and that cause is your desire. Third one is that the cessation of pain and misery can be achieved. So just because you will have pain and misery doesn't mean that you have to live with it all your life. You can work towards the cessation or stoppage. Cessation is plainly, it means that it won't be there anymore. So you can stop being subject to pain and misery with complete non-passion and cessation of this very desire. Okay, so passion is generally something that we see in a positive connotation, but here passion means that you saying that I will do only this, I want things to happen only in this way. So you're being too attached to something. So if that stops, you are no longer having that feeling that you have to or things have to happen according to your expectations or your desires or your passion. Then if you are no more attached to things around you, that leads to the cessation of pain and misery. So this is noble truth number 3. And the fourth one is a method that Buddha explains to stop this pain and misery. So he talks about a noble eightfold path. Okay, so it is these are certain things that we have to do to overcome that feeling of me or I or that ego. Okay, so and once you start following these eightfold path, then you get into greater harmony with the world around you, and as a result of that, the pain and the misery that you experience will reduce. Okay, so this is how you can represent the eightfold path. First is right view. Know the truth. Most of our problems are because we see things the way we want things to be. So that should not be there. We should know the truth. We should view things as it actually is. Second one, right intention, where you free your mind of evil. You don't have any more evil intentions. Okay, I should do this, I should where you harm other people. So as I told you, following these 8 things would help you get into a better harmony with the world around you. The third one is right speech. Never hurt other people. You may say something because you feel that it makes you feel better, or you think that that is the right thing to say, but if it hurts another person, then that is not right speech. Right action, where you work for the good of others, not just for yourself, you work for the benefit of the people around you. Right livelihood, where you respect life, irrespective of what strata that person belongs to, or whatever, you respect the people around you. Right effort, where you try your level best to avoid evil from happening around you, all around you. So you put in the effort to make sure that things around you are working in the proper way. Right concentration, where you engage in meditation And right, mindfulness, where you control your thoughts, you're not in the past, you're not in the future, you are in the present. So you are not fully into anxieties or things like that. You are having your thoughts under your control. So if all these 8 things are done, then definitely it will help you to overcome all the pain and misery that you will definitely experience in your life. So these are the this is the eightfold path which is explained by Buddha. So, these truths, the Four Noble Truths that Buddha talks about, it does not exist in grass or wood or stones, but it exists within us. Because even though we are, made up of material substances, still we are having certain things which differentiate us from this grass, wood, and stones, which is we have consciousness and perception. So, only us who have these features of consciousness and perception, we are the people who live in the world of pain, who are aware of the origin of pain, who can stop this pain, and who can practice the ways to stop this pain. So, this eightfold path and all this can be practiced by human beings. That is what Buddha says. And out of the four truths, the first one identifies with the physical and psychological pain or the misery that we all go through in our life, for sure. The second one talks about the origin of the pain, or why the pain is there or the misery is there. Third one recognizes the state where you can actually stop it. And fourth one, how do you stop it? So these are the four noble truths as explained by Buddha. So now we are moving to the pure psychological aspects which are there in Buddhism. First one is the factors of personality. So I already told you that Buddhism is a Nastika school. So Buddha didn't believe in Atman. So he called personality with a term called Pudgala. Okay. So Pudgala is basically that material which is transferred from one birth to the other. So whatever is transferred from the different births, that part of you is your Pudgala. So this Pudgala is actually a congregation of 5 skandhas. So skandha, the word meaning of skandha is trunk. You have the tree trunks, right? So just like that, there are 5 trunks which are close to each other, which are always in connection with each other, together, which form your personality or your Pudgala. So here it's given the Pudgala is the entity that reincarnates as an individual or person. So it is a bundle of tendencies which move from one birth to the other until a person attains enlightenment. So you keep on taking birth till you attain enlightenment. So that is your Pudgala, and as I told you, Pudgala is composed of 5 trunks or skandhas. So these 5 skandhas, they have a physical component and mental component. So they explain both physical and mental states, and this is what personality is. It doesn't Buddha doesn't talk about Atman as personality. So there are 5 skandhas. The first one is Rupa skandha. Rupa is something to do with appearance. So the material element, the body, whatever is visible, the physical aspect is your Rupa skandha. The material, the body, the senses, sense data, all that together forms your Rupa skandha. Second one is Vedana skandha. Vedana is literally, we can translate that into a feeling. Mostly we use it in the context of pain, but here Vedana skandha is any feeling. It can be pleasurable, it can be painful, it can be indifferent. You can have feelings which are neither pleasurable nor painful. It's just a feeling, that's it. So all that comes under Vedana skandha. All your sensations, all your feelings come under Vedana skandha. Third one is Samjna skandha, which is your conceptual knowledge. Okay. Fourth one is your Sanskara skandha, which is your coordination of the mental states, your where your concepts and feelings meet. So that determines how you react in a situation, how you behave, how you view things. All that is explained in by your, how your feelings and concepts are, functioning together. So all that comes as a part of your sanskara skanda. And the fifth one is your vijnana skanda, which is your consciousness. So if you see, the first one is connected to your physical self or the physical component, whereas the last four are connected to the mental, component. So the first one is rupa skanda, which is the material element. Then you have vedana skanda, which is your feelings and sensations. Samjna skanda, which is the conceptual knowledge. Sanskara skanda, which is the coordination of your concepts and feelings. Fifth one is the vijnana skanda, which is your consciousness. So these are the 5 skandhas as explained by Buddha, and these 5 skandhas together form your Pudgala, which is your personality. Okay, so these 5 skandhas are transferred from one birth to the other, and this is what forms your identity. Okay, and once the person attains enlightenment or nirvana, then these skandhas need not be together anymore. Then this person attains enlightenment, is extinguished in nirvana, so these skandhas don't are no longer together. Till the person attains nirvana, the person moves from one birth to the other, and these skandhas will remain together, bound together. Okay, and the Buddhist idealists, especially the Yogakaras or the Vijnanavadins, they don't believe in the existence of self. They say that all your cognitions are just, momentary experiences. Okay, so everything that you see around you or yourself, everything is just a, it's just a momentary thing that happens. It is not something that is there. Okay, yourself which is always existing, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so all your cognitions are self-luminous, so they see all the objects as it is. So there is no object as such, it is just your cognition that is seeing that as that particular object. So then there is no question of recognizing the object or recognizing the subject, because nothing actually exists. All the things around you are momentary cognitions which are happening in succession. So that was about personality. The next psychological concept which comes under Buddhism is levels of consciousness. So levels of consciousness you can split into 2. One is subliminal consciousness and the second one is superliminal consciousness. Superliminal consciousness again can be divided into 2. Normal consciousness or Kamachita and supernormal consciousness or Mahagata Chitta. Supernormal consciousness or Mahagata Chitta, again you can have 3 divisions in it, which is Rupa Chitta, Arupa Chitta and Lokottara Chitta. Okay, so these are the different levels of consciousness according to Buddhism. So the subliminal consciousness is, this is the same concept that you might have studied in general psychology, where subliminal consciousness is the consciousness below the threshold of consciousness. Okay, so you have this threshold or manodwara. So any consciousness that is happening just below the threshold, you barely are conscious about it. That is subliminal consciousness. Superliminal or supraliminal, which is above the limen, is above the threshold. Okay, above the threshold of consciousness. So that is the first division, subliminal and superliminal or supraliminal. You can use any of the 2 words. And again this superliminal is again divided into Kamachitta and supernormal or Mahagata Chitta. So Kamachitta is anything worldly, okay, where there is desires, anything that you see around you, that mundane world is Kamachitta. It is the normal consciousness which is there with any person. Okay, you just see the things around you, have desires for the things you see, and that's the normal, normal consciousness. Then you have the supernormal consciousness, which again has 3 phases. So the Rupa Chitta is consciousness concerned with visible objects. So again you might think, okay, this is the same thing that we saw in Kamachitta, but there was desire, but here you are seeing things, but the element of desire may not be there. So that is what Rupa Chitta means. And then Arupa Chitta is something that is concerned with invisible objects or the things that you cannot see. Okay. And Lokotara Chitta is above that, like you are being conscious of things which are not there in front of you. It's not because you can't, it's not there right in front of you, it's there somewhere. Even things which are not visible to you or not accessible to you, you're conscious about that also. Okay, so these are the three things which come under supernormal consciousness. Okay, your Rupa Chitta, Arupa Chitta and Lokotara Chitta. So Rupa Chitta is somewhat corresponds to dhyana in yoga, and Lokotara Chitta corresponds to the samadhi state of yoga. So next is the functioning of the mind. So Buddhism as such does not have a concept of manas. They have the concept of buddhi, chitta and vijnana. So as I told you, out of the 5 skandhas that Buddha has explained, only the first one talks about physical, whereas the last 4 talks about the mental side of personality. So mental properties again are universal and specific, which are again either good or bad. So you see things as either universal or in a general way or a specific way. You can see things in different ways. So he talks about cognition. Okay, so the whole process of cognition according to Buddhism is called vidhi. So it includes imagining things, images, fancy, after images, appreciating something, concentrating, dreams, perception, all this comes under cognition. Okay, so if you need to cognize something, first it enters the field of presentation. Like for example, there is a pen in front of you. So it enters your field of presentation, it enters your visual field. So that is the first step. You're seeing it and it produces a vibration in your pure being. Okay, I'm seeing something, I'm experiencing something, I'm sensing something. So you get that vibration. And then there is this faculty of reflection within you which catches the vibration. Okay, there is something which has entered my field of presentation and my being is responding to it. So that vibration is caught. That is the second step. Third step is apperception. The thought loses in being. So the being actually takes that thought into it. Okay. And then that is the third step. Fourth step is you start investigating. Okay, what is it? How is it connected to me, or how should I relate to it? So there is a momentary examination. Okay, what is it actually? So it has come to my field of presentation. It has it has created a vibration. I am aware of that vibration. My being absorbs that thought, and then I start investigating. Okay, what is it actually? Then you have the determining process. Okay, so this is this particular thing. This is why what I call it. This is why it is important to me. So, and all this happens in to 1 or 2 moments. Okay, so this identification of that particular object stays in your mind maybe for 2 moments, 2 minutes, like 2 seconds. So that is why the Yogakaras and the Shunyavadins, they say that all cognition is transitory. It's just there for 2 moments. After that it changes. After that, the way you perceive it or the way that thing is there for you changes. So that particular cognition is available with you only for 2 moments. So that is how all cognition is. It is momentary, it is transitory. Nothing is there like forever. Okay, all your cognitions, everything is there for a very transitory or a very transitory phase for a very short period. Okay, and then they also give a description about perception. Okay, so Dharmakirti, he defines perception as cognition that is free from mental concepts. So you don't when you perceive something, you don't give any name or class or category or anything to it. Okay, so we'll come to this. We'll come to determinate and indeterminate perception again. But here Dharmakirti, he says that perception is cognition which is free from all these name, class and all those things. Okay, so if we want to add a name, class, then it becomes kalpana. It's no more perception. Okay, and whatever perception you have, there should not be any errors. So you can't include illusion as a perception. Okay, so and it is direct perception where there is both sense object contact and mental perception. Okay, you have your thoughts or your mental faculty also contributing to the whole idea of perception. And then it is indeterminate where a name, class and all is not attributed to that particular object that you perceive. Vasubandhu explains that perception is cognition which is directly produced by the object. Okay, so it is not something which is happening as a result of you thinking about it or anything. It is directly produced by the object. Dignaga, he says that he stresses the outer realism of objects. He says that perception is determined by the object and not modified by your ideas or concepts. So perception is directly based on the object that you are coming into contact with, or which is in your field of presentation. That is, these are the three people who have given their own views about perception. Vasubandhu, Dharmakirti and Dignaga. Okay, and then the Buddhists, they say that perception is momentary in nature. Okay, so it's just a moment or two. So it's not something which is there for a very long time. It is just momentary, and it is the continuous sensations are purely temporary. It just appears to be continuous. When you think about your perception, you think that okay, it's happening continuously, it's without any breaks or anything, but actually it just appears to be. It's just like how you see the cartoons where they have the different frames coming in succession, where you feel that actually the character is moving, whereas it just appears as though it is moving. They are different frames. So just like that, Buddhists explain that your sensations are very temporary, momentary things which are transitory, but it appears as though it is continuous. So that is how they explain perception. And then there are, according to Dharmakirti, there are 4 kinds of perception. One is sense perception, where it is based on the functioning of the senses. Okay, so it's just sensation and gives rise to mental perception subsequently. So you see something and you perceive it. Okay, or you hear something, you smell something, you taste something, you feel something, so that you perceive something based on your senses. Then you have mental perception, where it is it follows sense perception. Okay, so mental perception does not directly depend on your sense organs, but it is the perception that you get after your sense organs come into contact with that particular object. Then you have self-perception, which is the perception of yourself, your pleasure, your pain, awareness about yourself. That is your self-perception. Perception about my mind, my the states which I am going through. All that is my self-perception. And then you have yogic perception, which is super conscious perception. This is the perception which you can attain as a result of meditation, and it is based on the 4 doctrines of Buddhism, which says that all is transitory, all is void, all is pain, everything is like itself. So these are the 4 doctrines of Buddhism. Everything around you is transitory, everything is void. Okay, like how the Shunyavadins say, all is pain, pain is you can't help it, but pain will be there, and everything is like itself. So everything is itself. So these are the 4 doctrines of Buddhism, and once you meditate on these doctrines, then you are capable of attaining superconscious perception. Then just like how we saw in some of the Astika schools, here again determinate and indeterminate perception comes, but Buddhists say that indeterminate perception is the only perception which is possible. Okay, so you cannot engage in determinate perception because you can't really fit something into a particular class or say that it has this quality, because everything is momentary, everything is transitory, everything is just there for 1 or 2 moments. So you can't actually fit something into a class or a category or a name or anything. So all your perception is indeterminate. Okay, you don't none of your perception is having any attributes or anything. So all your perception is indeterminate. Buddhists do not believe in determinate perception. And then they also explain about dreams. They say that there are four theories of dream phenomenon. One is the physiological theory, which explains that some of your dreams, like falling from a mountain or flying into the sky, all that is because of your bodily disturbances, your organic issues, or your muscular disturbances, your pain. That is what makes you dream in that way. And then they have the psychological theory, which says that all your desires, your unmet wishes, all your experiences, everything that you've gone through, that is what activates your mind and gives rise to dreams when you are sleeping. So that is the second theory. Third theory is a superstitious theory, which says that spirits, okay, they are these spirits are what is actually making you dream, and it gives you telepathic dreams. And the clairvoyant theory, it says that your merit and demerit. So the life that you live, the good things that you do, the bad things that you do, all that is what helps you to get prophetic dreams, saying that okay, this is going to happen. So you are able to have a dream like that because of the merit that you have in your life. Okay, so that is clairvoyant theory. So these are the four theories of dreams. And then they also talk about illusory perception, where everything is void. Okay, so the Shunyavadins, they say that everything is void, so how can you have an illusion? So nothing is there, so how can you have something that is wrong or false? So that is not possible. So this theory is asat khyadi. Asat is something that is not there. Asat khyadi. And this is asat khyadi, and you also have atma khyadi, where the Sautrantikas and the Vijnanavadins, they say that the Sautrantikas, they say that the external objects have a real existence, and the Vijnanavadis, they say that there is no reality of external objects. They are just forms of knowledge. Okay, so these are somewhat they belong to something called atma khyadi. Okay, so Sautrantikas, they say that the external objects, they do have an existence, whereas the Vijnanavadis say that there is no reality. It's just forms of knowledge. Okay, it's not reality as such. So these two come under Atma Khyadi. So illusory perception kulla you have Asat Khyadi and Atma Khyadi. Then they also talk about sense organs. So they say that there are 6 sense organs. You have the usual 5 sense organs. The visual organs are the eye, ear, nose, tongue and skin, and along with that you have the mind. So the sense organs are made up of some subtle matter, and they explain that what are the senses: visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, tactile and mental, which are the organs which give rise to these senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin and mind. And what happens as a result of these organs? You have vision, audition, smelling, tasting, touch and knowledge. And what is it that you get or what is it that you perceive with the help of these senses? Color, sound, smell, taste, tangibleness and idea. So this is the Vishya that you get to know through these 6 sense organs. So the Buddhists they say that there are 6 sense organs, the 5 sense organs that we all usually say, and the mind. So these are the 6 sense organs. And they also talk about recognition, which is not a single psychosis. Psychosis here is vritti or fluctuation. So it is a complex of 2, presentative and once you have to recognize something, you have to sense something which is there in the present, and you also have to be aware of something that has happened in the past, the impressions. Okay, so you see somebody and then you recognize, okay, I've seen this person a year back, or I've met this person in this particular place. So both elements are there. You have the present and the past, right? So they say that recognition includes all these things, both your presentative and representative. Both these together only will give rise to recognition. So this is all about psychology and Buddhism. Thank you.